Yeah, you have to. Come on.
Why? I'm just saying.
It's a game feature.
Uh-huh.
Specifically for free-to-plays and low spenders to like be able to use the characters from other people and then progress with those characters.
Like, it's also a tangible purpose for the friend system, because realistically, we're not all doing this so we can do a 10 pull every 2 days.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get why. I'm just saying, you know, if you're using mercs to get past 35-40, did you really do it, or did Wales McGee do it for you?
I mean, this kind of feature is not like this kind of feature is like available in a lot of different games where you can use a friend's unit or have a friend play with you. It's just I don't think this does not make you free to play. Especially if you have the badge. I'm not
saying that. All I'm saying is like, because a lot of people use the free to play as a bragging rights thing. So I'm like, yeah, okay. So where's the goalpost and where's the things like? And like, yes, I understand it's there. It's a mechanic. Yeah, I'm not saying all that. But like the
goalpost is being free to play and being in 3 and 4 team content to where you can't just put mercs in every team.
Well, that's why I throw it out there. Are you really truly saying that, like, yeah, you earned it, or did Will McGee? Because like that GIF, everyone's seen it where what is it, Adventure Time, where the main character is using a lightning sword running through the dungeon, and then the dog is picking up the loot. Like, it's basically the same thing, just in a different way.
I mean, so the big difference is, right, you have the unit that can do has a lot of power, and the other thing is you have the knowledge of how to use the unit. Now, maybe the unit is so strong that the knowledge doesn't matter, but I feel like when you get that high, is like, you still need to know how to play the game.
I'll say one unit. I'll say one unit, and this is why I throw out whale. If you're making a whale unit, Monster Hunter again does not care where you are. For the most part, from what a lot of people are saying is that it just pushes it from early level to mid level to even close to the high level where whales are using Monster Hunter. Can even Ryu, all this down the third.
Even playing field, it's fine. Like, you can't as a free to play player merc something that another free to play player can merc.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're like a free to play that never interacts with people and you don't add strong players, and you never try to like be on time to like get the merc, because again, there's a lot of people requesting those, and if the well wakes up 15 minutes after reset, and I can tell you this is the case, you will have like 20 requests when you wake up.
There was that guy who was LARPing in game feedback about how he never wanted friends and never wanted to use that system, so I suppose he's at a competitive disadvantage.
Yeah, he's at a competitive disadvantage at his own choice. He doesn't want to use the features that are provided in the game.
Yeah, I think...
Wait, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I think the argument here is free to play versus solo play. And I feel like if you want to solo play this entire game, then you can't really join a guild, and you can't really use any of those guild functions, right?
Yeah, also just the guild rewards, etc.
Yeah, are you no longer free to play if you're accepting my glory prizes, huh, sir?
I mean, it's possible. I was just throwing it out there because
know if they were free to play or not, right?
Yeah,
they just said they didn't want to add friends.
Like, if you're in a race and you normally drive a hoopty, and then Book over here comes in and he's like, "Here's my Lamborghini. Use this instead." I mean, that's all I'm saying is, did you really beat?
No,
did you really win the race? Did you really win the race?
For me driving my Lamborghini, you can have 100 faith gems for me driving my Lamborghini.
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there to throw shade.
My wallet now.
Because the thing is that there's some people, I'm not saying overall, not mostly, none of the people in here, where they're just like, you didn't earn it if you didn't do this. So the question is like, because of how powerful merking is, to like, where some people literally respond, "Oh, I can't beat this," and someone just goes, "Just merc it." There's literally the response: it's just merc it and you'll beat it.
I mean,
I've seen that so many times. That's the reason why.
It's not an easy button though. Like, you still have to do it.
Yeah, not only that, but mercs. Let's say Chaos from my guild, for example, he's a 480 Giga Whale. The chances of you obtaining that unit are very slim, because we tested this out and it doesn't prefer the first player to request, but it's just random randomly picks between players that requests. So it like actually requires for some people weeks to get this unit once, well, twice for challenge and twice for tower, I guess. But just keep in mind that it is a feature in the game. You don't spend on it, and if you want to use it, you're free to use it. And there is no accomplishment less for those players because they still beat the wave with that Merc and they still use that unit at a disadvantage because we all know Mercs aren't as good as the original units somehow.
Yeah, but with
one gear.
With soul cores and card dupes, it's starting to be like, okay, like Mercs are damn strong.
Yeah, Mercs are damn strong, but they're never as good as the person that originally has them. It's like your friend is a Lamborghini and you get to drive it when there's like 250,000 miles on it.
Yeah, they put a governor on the engine.
Or that. But one thing though that you also have to keep into consideration is fighting hard is a huge amplifier of these units, and those whales have level 67 in attack. And the reason why I'm saying 67 is every 2 and 5 interval you gain a percentage attack, which is what you want to go for in fighting hard. You don't want to stop at 50, you want to stop at 52 or 57, or you don't want to stop at 20, you want to stop at 22 or 27, so on, because that's the biggest buff you can get. Because percentage killings are always better than the flat ones. But fighting hearts are just nuts, and eventually everyone will get to 60, but by that time the whales are at 100, etc.
Alright, so now here's my question. Is Bison still the end-all be-all first unit you should get, or can people, because you can select, why not just throw Goken in there?
As triple S Infernal Master?
Yeah.
No, first divination, absolutely Bison.
Yeah.
Absolutely Bison, no matter what.
There is nothing has changed.
Unless you pulled your first copy of Bison before you got to 1540, yes, absolutely Bison. And even then, still probably Bison.
I think triple S Bison is just too important because his stats are good from his scars. His plus 30 is great. It helps your team with extra damage. His plus 20 and plus 30, that is. He like becomes an actual damaging threat if you use a C3.
And like, regardless of the fact that he has counterplay and has been like slightly power crept, I guess, in the sense that like he's not just the be-all end-all, he's still literally one of the only characters in the game that any mode, any circumstance, you can just put him in your team and feel fine about it.
Okay, so, and I know the topic before was who's the good second. Where does overall my key question is where does Goken fit in the grand scheme of things?
The thing with Goken is you want to compare them not to divination units. You want to compare him to the other special summons. Yeah, and the thing about Evil Ryu, Akuma, and Goken is they are such different units that it really is entirely account dependent. If you need a high damage boss unit, then you go for Akuma. If you need just someone that's sitting in your lineup and deals damage without you having to worry about using skills for him, Evil Ryu is the play. If you need survivability and the revive for your team, and overall, I think he also boosts his damage. I'm not sure about the team's damage, but he does some damage. Goken is the play.
I think Goken's really appealing for his shock kit because like they recently released Sagat with the same thing. And then like it kind of makes me interested in having an actually built Blanca around because of like the counterattack mechanic and his plus 30 and like how all that shock stuff layers together when you start stacking up multiples of it.
I mean, I'm getting Blanca cars now, but I'm not going for Goken at the moment, which is an issue.
I'm an OG Blanca fan, but I know a lot of people aren't. But it's just, for me, I feel like he's just a good AoE counter. Like, okay, you can use him to counter AoE units in, well, any mode, right? Because most of the time he sits in the second slot. So then he's not built to front load a lot of damage. But if there is any AoE damage that goes through, then he has a chance to just, you know, it's a gamble, right? You're just rolling a dice. But then there is a chance if if the AoE goes through, you can just negate the whole thing.
Yeah, that is facing a 6 out of 6 plus 30 Blanca in Satsui mode is one of the most annoying things ever, because I always have to use like 2 or 3 combos to like clear the wave because Blanca just interrupts me.
Yeah, and to be fair, if you're a crazy guy and went plus 30 on OG Blanca, if he has that electrified shield, the one he gets when you do a combo 1 or combo 2, if there's anyone that touches him, he just replenishes the shield that he gives towards everyone instantly. So if for example, right, a scenario, you use Fashion Blanca Super, that doesn't, it's an AoE, and basically if you don't proc the counterattack interrupt or trigger, or no, yeah, counteract interrupt, then it looks like his shields, like there's like a small white bar. It just goes down, up, down, up, down, up, just because it procs it every time without any intervals. If that makes sense. So he's an absolute AoE. Well, he's not really, because there's some burst AoE units, right? So then that just goes away with that. But then, for example, Dalsim or Fashion Blanca, who just supers or C3s, it goes down, not like every single tick, but it goes down, the damage is spread around the multiple ticks. So then what Fashion Blanca, with OG Blanca does is that every single tick, it brings back the shield up again. So then it negates more damage than just a straight up one combo burst. If that makes sense.
So basically, what Tix is saying is that Blanca is a really good answer to AoE cleave teams, especially in PvP. And he works as a somewhat cheese unit, but he needs the investment, and it's something that.
Yeah.
Are you there yet, Tix? Did you invest in him fully? Is he fully built for you?
No, I mean, he's not plus 30. It's quite a commitment to plus 30 him, but it works like that. I'm working on my way to plus 6 out of 6 him and try him out. But I wouldn't say he's a crazy unit. But he's definitely a good unit to cheese your way, because negating like the whole, not the whole combo, but just the combo itself can be quite impactful.
Okay.
Book, you wanted to mention something?
Wrapping back a little bit earlier to the topic you had questioned about, like the idea of using mercs to finish chapter stages, and like whether or not that would kind of color the validity of accomplishment and that sort of thing. Like when I view that topic, I kind of like, my mind immediately goes to the idea of like speedrunning and speedrunning communities and how they like segment off their runs into like any percent and full runs, and like you glitchless and this, that, and the other. And it's like, it's basically ways to make micro games out of the game to create these little even playing field bubble metas for people. But like, we already kind of have a lot of that segmentation in the game, as far as like there's server leaderboards and then Battlezone leaderboards and then global leaderboards and this, that, and the other, and you're competing in all these different modes. And like, one of the easiest ways to discredit someone in this game is like, well, of course you beat me, you spent more money than me. And like, obviously that's infuriating when you may have spent more money, but you also like, you put a lot of time and effort into stuff. But when it comes to free to play, like, you don't really have that you spent more money argument. So like, I suppose if people wanted to challenge themselves and give themselves like difficult things to do, like no Bison runs, no BGEF runs, no Merc runs, things like that, that's cool. But I don't think it necessarily makes a generic run any more valid than like a free-to-play player being in Chapter 38 who is using mercs, because at the end of the day, there's a limit to the efficacy of those things, and like it is a level playing field. Like, you can just use those things. It's no big deal.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I agree as well. I just had to throw it out there as a devil's advocate type of thing, coming from an anti-meta type of guy. So, you know, there's always going to be that.
I totally respect and get that perspective.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I considered the whole idea of like, some people want to like come at the game with their own creativity and they want to express themselves through the game and be successful at the same time. And I get that and I vibe with it. But like at the same time, some people are going to sit down at the table and be a spike and just want to crush it. You know what I mean? And so like, yeah, there's room for everyone to play at the table. But like if someone's kind of slumming it in the 20s because they won't use mercs and won't use certain characters, they can't just discredit the accomplishments of so many people just because they, used the Gore Magala Ken on chapter 29, 40 or something like that.
Unless they're a dirty beast Zangief user, then, we could discredit all of them.
Obviously, yes.
I kid. I love you guys. That I guess that's where it's like, because I know Flake, you mentioned Honda, Beast Zangief is always there, Nero is the thing, and the one thing that they all have is interrupt. But does it get to a point where like, is interrupt the only thing that's mandatory amongst all the teams, or can you get to a point where it's just like, all right, I have no interrupt, but this is the team that just wins because.
So my Bison Dalsim team does not really have an interrupt. I have never really had reason to interrupt because Dalsim he does enough damage and Bison gives enough tankiness for your team to actually do the 2 or 3 combos that are necessary to clear the wave. But in general, you're facing level 100 discrepancies, level 120 discrepancies, which is a lot, and you will die if you do not interrupt.
So, what will he get to a point?
How do I beat this PvE Dalsim?
You don't.
But which one?
3640.
Can you send me a screenshot of the wave? I might have a play for you.
Sure thing. Sorry,
Also,
go ahead, sir. I didn't mean to.
No. That's now I'm reading. Not gonna lie, OG Poison. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like there's a lot of options out there that a lot of people are not using, and I'm just curious. It's like, because it seems that I'll use OG Blanca as an example because we were talking about him. It seems like he's kind of busted, but then at the same, like after you're explaining his whole can, you're like, yeah, he does this. You throw out, well, he's not that OP or whatever. It's like, but he's freaking good. Like, throw him in a team with someone else. Yeah, so are a lot of things. So squishy. But that's what I'm trying. Yes and no, kinda. Like that's what I'm trying to get is like, what team? So if you do like a freaking Blanca Rose, E Honda X or whatever, like can that not work?
Wait, can you repeat it? I was checking something else at the meantime.
I would say Blanca Rose, E Honda, and like a 4th. Like because that
because E Honda.
Because it gets to a point of like,
but you don't have DPS because you're facing these 100/120 level discrepancies, and the issue with that is you need sustain high DPS, and you can get it in the form of poison. Maybe I'm yet to get her plus 30 and 6 out of 6, so I can't actually say how well she performs in waves, but I'm positive because right now I only have 5 out of 6 SS gears perfect vehicles for her, and then plus 20, and she's carried me way more than I expected in Lightning Tower. I'm now at 297. So I'm fairly positive that poison will be a good DPS, but again, I'm not sure.
That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like the judgment skills is a little bit out there. It's like
no,
for example, like for me,
the teams you bring up.
Okay.
I know what the units do. And I can say for 90% of the units what they do. But units like Poison...
But have you seen them in action? That's the thing is, knowing what they do...
I have seen them in action, and I know the potential of Blanca. But Blanca is not good as a main DPS.
But I'm not saying as a main DPS. He's not a main DPS in unit anyway. What I'm trying to say is, the ideas that the structures of teams is so... like it feels one-dimensional where people are not looking outside like, oh, let me do I'm like I said, I'm throwing teams together where it's like, why wouldn't these work? And it's like Blanca, you're obviously is not your main DPS, but that's why I said Blanca behind the roles X. You could have someone that is the main DPS. What about Poison with Blanca? Or such and such with Blanca? Like, there are options that, like, I feel like the team synergy in terms of, like, kit plus kit plus kit plus kit will allow you to punch more higher if done, like, right. Like, if you're doing, okay, super for someone to get a buff and damage and you're doing this, then you have the combo too, because Elena to heal, boost and all this crap, and then you end like the rotations of different synergies and stuff like that. Like, why not do it that way in the alternative?
So I agree with you that there's still team comps and tested. Pain claims that Yun and Yang together do really well in boss fights, for example, at least in the last event that was.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have them built to the point where I can say I use them. Of course, I have them at triple S, but I don't have them at plus 20, plus 36 out of 6, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't say that for sure or confirm that. I trust Pain in his judgment. But yeah, there's team comps that need to be tested. And the only real way we can do that right now is relying on whales to test them.
I think relying on whales to test them or grow some balls and test units that are not like definitively consistent.
So
like,
the issue with that is, right?
Because aren't you gonna build if in the long term you're building all the units? It's just how you do it.
The main thing about the game, right? And the players playing this game is they want to see progress, and they want to see fast progress, right?
For the most part, yeah.
Because we get like a lot of questions in Discords, especially from like players that just started or players that don't really catch on to the advice that we're given. They want to progress, and they want to progress fast, and they want to know the metas. And we can only provide them with the current metas and the current units that are good. So those units will get built more often. Of course, you have the outlier who is building his Yun 6 out of 6 plus 30 as his first main character. But generally, they don't share their findings, is something I've noticed. I'm yet to talk with a person that like got a 6 out of 6 Yun or Yang or Guy or some other unit. What's another maybe good unit? Add-on, for example. These units, there's for sure someone that built them, but they haven't shared their findings. And
I've heard a lot of reports about Combat Guile from the community.
I am not ever gonna say that Combat Guile is a viable character due to the way his kit functions, and he has way too many random stats. Like, he gets HP but he also gets attack, and he doesn't really know what he wants to be because he wants to be a DPS, but at the same time wants to be a tank, and all of this hurts his numbers and his abilities to the point where he's neither.
Oh, 100%. He's a mess of a character, but in terms of damage numbers, like, his multipliers are there.
His multipliers are there, but he cannot get
and his kit. Like, what about his bonuses that he does with like grave, whatever, and the damage buff to his fighting spirits? Because like the initial, I remember in no Adon.
Grave injury is Begeef.
Adon too.
Adon too, yeah.
No, Adon applies it. Begeef benefits from it.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh. Okay.
Because like I for me, when the game first came out, I was like, Adon, wouldn't he be a good bossing unit? But then everyone was like, he's trash. And I was like, yeah, is he really though? Like,
so the thing that I think about Adon, just reading his kit, right, is that he requires a lot of investment, and that there's characters that will do the things he does, but better and for less investments. That is my philosophy on Adon. He could be a good character, but he gets outshined at the moment by his peers that perform better in every single instance where he would be used. Because there is not that many characters that benefit from his bleed, his hatred mark. I can't talk about this hatred mark in the sense that I don't know how good it actually is. But damage dealt by 20% does sound great, of course, and his whole team benefits from it at plus 30. But you want to know something funny? There's this character called Guy, who gives plus 20% damage on the next skill, so on the C3 with his C2. And that doesn't require investment. And sure, your combo and your C1 won't do as much damage, but the units you want to pair with in boss fights are, for example, Trenny Kami. And Trenny Kami super doesn't really do that much damage. It's mainly her C3 and her C3 proccing from the shock stacks from her combo starter. Your C1 will be Street Poison or Lena or Summer Yang. That also doesn't really do damage. So would you really need to invest the plus 30 into add-on if you get it from a guy who doesn't really require any investment besides maybe getting into triple S, which is just food?
So I'm glad you mentioned Guy. He's one of those outliers. Is he good?
Guy is good as support.
I think Guy's a very good support.
The thing is that Guy is good in manual play, but on auto play he suffers because his C2, when you build him, requires timings. And those timings you can't really achieve while playing on auto or, like, for example, in arena. So you would need to do manual fights, and then you get into territory where he's like really good in bosses. But in other game modes, he might be a bit lackluster. But that's my take on him.
So build Guy, yes, all the way.
Yeah, build Guy to triple S. Use him in recurrent the all and triple team ways, basically. Throw him in somewhere where you have a huge damaging C3, and you will see the damage numbers rising by quite a lot.
Because my argument, I guess, is that eventually, when you get to 4, 5, 6 months down the line, and then obviously, when you hit a year, if you hit the 1 year anniversary mark, you're gonna have most, if not all, characters maxed. Maybe if you play consistently, and you're pushing and you're playing as if how we're imagining the game plays. Because I know, as an example, Tick's free to play. He already has half, if not more than half, the roster Triple S.
Wait, what did you mean with max, by the way? Did you just mean triple S, or do you mean Philip build 6 out of 6 plus 30?
Getting there to the point, like right now, for example, because we're also talking about casuals, not only just free to play, but casual, general players that may or may not spend. Like Don has like 15 to 20 characters that are 6 to 6. There's some people who are like, on my free to play, I have 15 fighting spirit 30s at 3-4 months.
But
but like that's what I'm saying. It's like if you're pushing hard for certain things, you may say it's capped, but like if a person's pushing soul stones and not giving a fuck about anything else, yeah, I could definitely see it. Just the same way as Don has a shit ton of cards that are 6 to 6. If for you the value of 165k to buy 25 boost stones may be trash, but guess what? I buy the motherfuckers the moment I hit 65k. I'm going straight to the store and buy me some 25 boost stones.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I know some people do it. I know Tix will do it because he just got his triple S rose.
Yeah, I'm trying. Like bad. Fighting spirit 30 is that important.
It's not bad, but when it comes to like fighting spirits and where people should be, Tix is one of my peers. Pika is another. As a free to play and being very active and thinking of how to spend resources, I think is now at 8 plus 30s, which most people don't have. Even spenders on my server that have level 400 that have a plus 5 Virgil, Dante, MHK and stuff. They don't have the 8 plus 30s.
Yeah, and that's important. Like, that's where, like, we can all agree that's when Guile turns on. That's when Dawson turns on. That's where a lot of players, Bison, like, these characters are just like, all right, they're good, now they're great. And then with cars, now they're amazing. Like, that's just the levels of how it goes.
Yeah, that's very true. But I just don't think we're now at 5 months in, we can see a clear influx in plus 30s, just from Effigy, and they buffed the amount of boost stones you can get from challenge. I've yet to get a boost stone after 2 days, I'm gonna be real with you, but that might just be bad RNG. They probably doubled to 8, but it'll still be pretty low, but they influx it in different ways, so it's fine.
Yeah, I think like How many? If you work on boost stones alone in 1 month, how many would plus
I
30s
think
could
2.
be possible?
I think you can get. I think you can get 2. You can get 2 new plus 30s.
I think so too, because like okay, early on, I didn't even even currently, not even early on, I prioritize like
because this is
summons.
different ways. Just sorry to interrupt. I just want to make sure to like clarify for everyone listening. This is also different ways of min maxing an account. Like that. That's why it's like when people are like cards are 6 is important. I'm like, yeah, so are boost stones. So just continue, Chase.
Yeah. So for me, it depends because I didn't 8 place to plus 30s might seem like a lot, but actually it's I don't even you could push it way higher because I prioritize in like recast tokens, which has no value, right? And you can get stupidly shafted with it. So then I missed out on a lot of opportunities to get boost stones because I prioritized recast tokens. It might not be the play for you. It's very RNG. It could also ruin your account actually. But for me, I had to compete in like higher showdowns and higher arenas. I had to have most of my units at least geared up. So then in showdown or higher, not showdown, final showdown, every unit matters, right? Having their correct gear and having +2 or at least +1 and +2, because those stats that you gain matters for final showdown. It does not matter as much for challenges and stuff like that. But then for PvP, that's what I focused my resources into. So you definitely could get way more +30s than 8 if I didn't do my route of what I chose to play. But generally, you could get a ton just from doing Shadaloo, getting the 25 boost stone kits. If you're a type of player who focuses on maxing out your units, then you could use 3k gems for 20 boost stones, which I did quite regularly, but not every single time. But yeah, most of them, like it costs you 45,000 gems to get 1 plus 30 from general store. If you value that amount, 45k gems for 1 plus 30, or do you value 9 multis in divination? So those are the trade-offs that you could take, different routes that you could take. And also in events, you definitely want to prioritize boost stones, right? But I would say if you from events from the general store, if you do plan to buy it from just the random crusade stuff or the grants and the city tokens, not counting the what's the mode, not counting what was the other token, the one where you use showdown points for the honor.
Yeah, honor tokens.
Yeah, for those you can get like around 20, let's just say 35 boost stones a month, because you could get almost 1 rose a month, and 1 rose is 250k. So getting it's more than a month. 250K.
If you're max rank, it's 225k a month basically.
How long has Mummy Dawson been out?
A little over 2 weeks now.
A little over 2 weeks, and I've been using boost stones only. I got his fighting spirit to 28.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I haven't been like hoarding or anything. It was just like I got him, and then I focused completely. Like they doubled up on events, and all I got was boost stones and stuff like that.
Keep in mind, we've also adjusted effigy, which was also an insane influx, because effigy basically means everyone gets 180 boost stones.
Yeah.
Everyone always complains about like fighting higher guilds and stuff, but just look at the rewards you get along the way. The rewards are what make effigy good. I really don't care for the guild versus guilds.
So you get a bunch of summons on top of maxing out the full boost stones.
All right, and now my question is that good? Is that a good look where you're not caring for the event itself, but just the rewards?
Well, I mean, for most people,
you have to be active.
The event rewards are important. And I'm gonna say, sorry, but if you do not have the means to be in a top guild, you will not get the top 3 because your account is too weak or you're too inactive or whatever. And it's actually, this is one of the few games where it's fine to not be in a top 3 spot because the rewards, what did we get? We got a frame. Woohoo! For being rank 1. That is the only difference we got between top 3 and top 20. And top 20 guilds is very achievable.
Yeah, and also, I mean, if you just do your 5 attacks, you just buy 2 attacks for free, you're definitely going to max out the boost stones and probably have some extra for summons.
So I think if you do 5 attacks on a statue, which is what I only could do because I woke up 15 minutes after the reset every time, and my guild had already beaten the opponents, you could actually get all of the boost stone kits, all of the draws. I bought all of the golden tokens. I didn't buy any of the packs, by the way, and all of the Fey gems, and I bought some strengthening tokens just from the free rewards that we got. I do have to admit that I maxed out the 3.6 million damage milestone, which means that I got some more event currency. But I think generally you will have more than the requirement for 180 boost stones and the, what is it, 100 free draws? I think it's 100 free draws.
Yeah, I think so.
So just that event on its own, the difference between getting rank 1 and rank 20 is a frame. Just participating in it gets you 180 boost stone kits and 100 draws. That's what we're gonna say. Does it really matter that you get top 1 to 3? For just a frame? For just a cosmetic? That, to be honest, wasn't even that nice this time around. I think the only nice FVG frame was the first one.
You know, the first one was too out there, you know, it's too blingy.
I mean, yeah, it's basically what I'm trying to say is there is no good frame besides the final showdown rank 1.
Yeah.
But
I mean, the other frames are nice. It's just quite accessible, so then it devalues the appreciation of the frame.
I mean, getting top 50 now in our server is more of an achievement because we're with 75 servers and it's so annoying because I have to actually try to get rank 1 and I can't even get rank 1 anymore.
So where you guys are in your team with like the into the story with the multiple teams and stuff like that, out of, like, I guess Flake, I can ask you because you're really up there. How many of your units are Fighting Spirit 3066? And how and then I guess this is the secondary question is how focused are these units on a singular team? So do you do, okay, team 1 is 66 Fighting Spirit 30, all of them, and then you move on, or do you have it splattered around?
So my 3 current teams are Trendy Kemi with an S rank damage Ken, SS plus Rose, who will be SSS in about a week's time when I get the last copy from Honor Shop, and Elena. The only plus 30 there is Trendy Kemi, and my Chun, who is plus 30, is the assist on her. And then I have Able assist on there, who is also plus 30. So that's 3 plus 30s in one team. Then my second team is Summer Yang at plus 20. Gal at plus 30, who is really just there to soak damage because I don't use him in any combos. But because he's plus 30 and 6 out of 6, he does have some HP, so he can live longer. So he can tank in the third slot longer, and the rest of my DPS stays alive. I'm running a Viper at plus 30, and a Fashion Blank at plus 30, then I have a Dhalsim Assist at plus 30. So I think that's 4 plus 30s in that team. And then my last team, I'm running Street Poison at plus 20, Bison at plus 30, Honda and Zangief at plus 10, and then Mad Ryu as an assist on Bison at plus 20. And
wait, how are they plus 10 when you bought gold tokens?
You don't know how many plus 20s I made before. Like, I had to make so many plus 20s before I could get them plus 30. My Chun was level 5, my Able was level 5. You don't, I never have enough plus 20 stones.
Yeah,
and that
me,
is
I went
sorry.
Oh no! I went out and plus 20 some random units. Just because I don't have anyone else. Like I'm even considering to plus 20. Who's Mayor Cody? Just because I use his assist and the stats. You know, his plus 20 is shit. His plus 10 is probably also shit.
That's for an assist.
Yeah, the stats for an assist, even though it's minor, like I don't have anyone else.
Yeah, it makes a difference. But the thing is that you probably did earlier than me was you were buying them from gold in the shop and getting them in events, while I was just relying on my draws because I have every factional unit besides Dudley and DJ and Summer Yang at Triple S, and Mummy Dalsim is SS plus. DJ is the only unit that I actually just haven't really touched. I did a lot of draws, so I actually had a lot of income of that. But then that decreased, and then I didn't really buy them, so I kind of fell behind on the plus 20s, which was a mistake. I do not make that mistake anymore on my free to play.
Yeah, I mean, I do buy those 20 for 15 million quite often, but not like every single time because you don't have 15 million to spare every single time. But it's quite dangerous now because of the new golden orb. So I'm definitely holding off.
Which probably led us into the topic that everyone kind of wanted to talk about and we haven't really touched upon, is the soul upgrades and like how impactful it is in the game and for free to plays. In the sense that is this a way to say fuck you to free to plays, or is it a way to say look what is coming free to plays?
It's both. Because what's coming is the most massive gap ever, because the stats that it gives is crazy. But then the alternative is that, you know, you have one unit probably could help you in content just because it's more stronger. It does affect leaderboards, but it probably doesn't affect if you are like regularly going for top. Maybe if you go in top 64 in showdown, final showdown, or if you're in top 50, it doesn't really affect it that much, I would say.
I know Book is fuming because he was doing his wiki and now he has to add so many more things because of the soul upgrades.
With the soul upgrades, I want to touch that a little bit more because it's like we were talking about Honda and the stun and stuff like that, but it did hit level 40 pretty good with the soul upgrade, where it says upon inflicting stun, reduce the target's defense by 60% for the duration of the stun.
It increases by 20%, but in the window to you utilize that stun is
it at the end of C3?
There.
Isn't it just a simple combo?
Yeah, like you have to land the stun, and then the stunned target, they're gonna get their defense shred. But then the stun lasts for I don't know how long, maybe 3. I don't know how. So then you have to cycle the combo 3 ASAP.
Yeah,
stuns for.
So like I don't see that being an issue.
So the thing is, Honda works really well with Fashion Blanca. The difference is that you go from a 40% damage reduction at even its level 2 passive to a level to 60%, which is a 20% increase. But is it worth the investment when you could just give your DPS so many more stats? In my opinion, no.
Exactly. Like any upgrade to a unit,
I mean, the only DPS they have right now is Viper, unless you like holding it and waiting for someone. Like I'm holding it and waiting it for Dawson, but who knows when they'll come. That's the other thing. It's like if we're looking at the units that are out now and Viper and Honda are there, like the way Honda has been touted as like being one of the better units in the game because of like what he brings to the table. Like I understand damage is important, and I guess people say damage is king for the most part. But it's starting to feel like how Book mentioned before. It's like survivability and consistency is starting to also creep up to take that throne.
For me personally, I have no issues with surviving, with my frontline surviving in really any mode that isn't the factional tower. And the reason why it's an issue in factional tower is because I'm currently facing level 600 teams and I'm 374, so it's more than 200 levels difference. So I think realistically, frontline should be fine as they are, and the 20% for Bison for Honda then 20% defense down versus. I'm just gonna look at my level 40 Viper, what she got in terms of raw base stats. She got that overview. 7% HP, 4% attack, 3% crit rate, 8% crit damage, 3.6% damage bonus, 4% effect resist, 3.2% effect accuracy, and the 70% defense bonus. So the 4% attack bonus sounds small, but you gotta keep into account that she's now, my Viper is at 770,000 attack. So that 4% that's lower now actually is a lot. It is a lot. And then the way that her abilities scale is that her passive got upgraded from her C2 and her C3. And her C3 goes from Thunder and Flame damage 300% attack to 330% attack.
But it's
at level 80.
You gotta remember it's two separate attacks, so it's 330 and 330, not 300.
Yeah, it's 2 times 330 attack. On top of the fact that you get bonus attack, bonus crit damage, and crit rates. And crit damage is arguably in most games the best amplifier you could get, just because crits hurt like a motherfucker, and if you can increase the damage, it just becomes insane. That is how Guile deals his damage, because if you use Guile, you know the damage that Guile does when he doesn't crit, and it's basically non-existent.
So what about poison for the terms of crit and stuff like that?
Street poison.
Yeah, just regular old poison.
Regular old poison doesn't have void soul upgrades. If she did it, then I would consider it.
Yeah, I would consider poison plus 40 if it improves damage quite a bit. Like maybe if they add like 10% of something damage bonus that stacks 5 times extra, or even 5%, and it stacks 5 times, 25 extra damage bonus or something like that. Just that alone would merit a plus 40 for street poison. But then you get like a 3% dodge, which is basically nothing.
So yeah, but the regular poison, if she were to come, right? The issue with plus 40 is it amplifies your C2.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
On poison and on Viper also, you really need plus 80 and the investment. By the time you will have the resources, you will most likely have an Akuma or an Evil Ryu running. And getting those units up will benefit you way more than getting Viper or Poison or any of the regular factions up. Unless the buff is actually really huge, because while Viper seems good, I think me getting her even to plus 40 was bait, and I fell completely into it, but I use her quite a lot when it comes to Crusade, because she's better than Trendy Kami in versus some bosses, and also in PvP, because she's a PvP queen, and she doesn't get talked about a lot when it comes to PvP.
Wait, Flake. For me, I don't know how strong it's gonna be, but then once I get my Viper to at least plus 80, then I would try to use her with Fashion Chun-Li just for her C3. But I don't know how strong that's gonna be.
Fashion Chun-Li. No.
Flame Chun-Li.
No. Yeah.
I did it.
You beat 3640? Oh, damn.
Yay.
Wait, you use her again. Ooh. See, that's...
Yeah, I got real weird with
Oh,
it.
snap. Let's go.
He used Mad Ryu, and again, there's your special team that you wanted, Mr. Turtle.
There you go. All right, talk
I
on
mean,
this
I
team,
gotta
bro.
flex my creativity a little bit sometimes, you know.
So talk on the team a little bit. Break it down for us.
Well, Gen works now, so if it's not a Bison stage, you can pretty much just throw Gen at it, which is what I did over and over until I figured out that Elena and Mad Ryu were the correct pairing, which is weird. I probably could have used like Cammy instead of Mad Ryu, but it might not have worked out as well because like a lot of that team comp is the velocity of like Mad Ryu proccing his Metsus and Gen proccing his Resolution. Like there's a certain point in the recap where they like almost kill my team, and then it's just like a Gatling gun of exploding damage, and like 2 of their things die, and then I had to limp through a couple more rotations and finish it out. But it works. I mean, as long as it's not a Bison, it's fine.
Wait, which skill does Gen interrupt with? Is it C1?
C1.
Okay.
His C1 is
what's your combo looking
interrupt
like?
Every other time, and it's a 15% chance.
So what's your
pretty
combo
much
looking
it's
like?
not reliable at all.
Okay.
Oh, it's also awful to time because it's his clone doing it.
It's like Dudley interrupt but on steroids, because Dudley interrupt, while it is 50%, the animation is so slow that you have to predict when they will use their combo. And trust me, on 4 teams you have to use him pretty much, unless like you're level 400 and something and you can just blast your way through it. It is not fun.
No, I mean,
I think Goken might actually open up a little bit of like maybe like a Goken Rose, just kind of meat wall your way through. That there's some potential there when you're relying on like the infinite scaling damage of someone like maybe Dalsim or Tikami.
I mean, my Dalsim already works with just Bison, but there is no DPS that doesn't require setup, because Gal ideally needs 4 combos, while Dalsim pretty much wipes the board in 2 combos, besides the unit in tag, of course.
So, like, is Goken Tikami a credible PvE composition?
I tried Trendy Kami in challenge,
like,
that is.
Goken has the stuns, and like they both play off each other's shocks, right? And like Goken can provide the team sustain to like obviously don't run that into a Bison, but like if Tikami has the single target damage and the rest of the team just doesn't die, like you can potentially play it front to back.
You could, but I don't know how reliable the stun is that you're talking about.
I haven't looked into Goken's kit enough. It's something to do with like his lightning charges.
I don't see a stun anywhere, I'm gonna be real with you. Just reading through his abilities. Unless... Yeah, I just don't see...
Is it not part of his FS?
I didn't check his FS yet.
Is Goken's resonance good?
Is soul power, you mean?
The one for the EX move.
Oh, the passive, it changes the revive to 35% max HP instead of 20%, I think.
Okay.
Recovery too. Oh, no. So it's just his level 2 gets increased by 5% of max HP. So it's... Nah.
Not as strong as Aku was.
So his own revive changes from 30% HP to 35% HP.
Gotcha.
So, Akuma is still the best one. By a while. Like, by a lot. Like, it's yeah.
And, okay, going in the topic of resonance and stuff like that, and EX moves, in the Taiwanese version, there's going to be 2 EX moves that comes with the guild, and that's Viper and E Honda's EX move. And the ones that we got first in terms of soul power is E Honda and Viper as well. I don't know if there's any connections there.
Maybe.
Why are you throwing other reasons out there, Tix? We don't know.
Look, at this point, we can only speculate of the coming updates, right? Was this update even in the Taiwan version? Because I heard it wasn't, but then I also heard it was, so I just don't know anymore.
They just added it, right?
So they added it with us. Okay, so it wasn't there prior.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
yeah, I don't know.
What I heard with Viper's EX move, if you don't know, is that it lets you do 2 supers at once, just like Cody, and you get it for free. So I don't think we're gonna get.
Yeah, we're not gonna get that for free. We are not gonna get that for free. Mark my words on this. If we get that for free, I will do absolutely nothing, because that is just a dumb thing to say.
Are you completely sold that they just won't do nothing for free to play at this point? We could round out the end of the conversation with that.
I'm hopeful that they will, but I'm not expecting it. So I am thinking that there might be free legendary on the horizon, maybe in 1 to 2 months, like Fashion Blanca. But I'm not counting on them giving us an insane amount of free things for free to play, especially considering they removed the free gem income from secret training, which is one of the few ways that free to play could stack up a lot of gems, or even whales could stack up a lot of gems. Just them removing that, which was, if you were first place, it was like 3k gems every day for the entirety of the event.
It was quite a bit.
Yeah, just them removing this makes me less positive towards the trajectory for free to play players or low spenders. But I might be wrong, and there might be something on the horizon that none of us know about. Like, in the end, the devs do what they want to, and like, we can only see what the current trajectory is. But if they want to change it up, then yeah. But at the current moment, I'm not that positive towards free to play. But I'm expecting a free legendary sometime soon.
I'm just waiting for the free city shop legendary.
What about you, Tix? Do you think it's like there's hope, or you're just kind of like, I'm just jamming out to jam out, and I don't expect much?
Yeah, I'm right now just playing the game as it is. Right, I'm not expecting anything. Of course, just hopeful, but I'm just playing. If they want to throw shit at me, let them be, because I'm still enjoying it.
One thing that I want to add to this conversation, though, that I have said before, don't expect everything for free as a free-to-play. This game is a business. They need to make money somehow. And they can make money from whales. So why would they advocate towards lower spenders?
Yeah.
So they will give you something, but don't expect the huge rewards that maybe some of y'all are hoping for. Because it's still a business.
It's still a business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Wait. For me, with the soul core and stuff like that, right? Like, if they introduce it a little bit more friendlier, it wouldn't be as bad. Just because when they got the car system introduced, it's not. There was not really a big uproar when they added it. Well, they might be, but not as big, because it's still accessible. And we can get car tokens from various means, but then I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Good. So, like, it could it be that I forgot who said it. I really forgot who said it, but they said that the first year it's rocky regardless, because they have to push aggressively for the monetization and for the quality of life stuff to come out, so that after the 1 year the game is then more fine-tuned and polished, and then it'll hopefully, if it gets to that point, it'll survive longer.
That depends, because some people might not want to play a game that is quite old, just because there's already a well-established community, and people might feel hard to step into a well-established community or a well-established friend group, right, or something like that. And like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how much people are going in, how much people are going out. But there's definitely people that are going out, and I don't know if they're gonna come back or stuff like that. But I'm hopeful for the game, just because I like the game, and I think everyone in this call probably does.
I don't know what you're talking about. I hate it. I'm just here just to kill time.
No, but I have one question for you guys, by the way. I have yet to see, like, about this topic, I'm yet to see a single advertisement of Street Fighter Duel on YouTube or anywhere else.
I've seen it. It's rare, but I've seen it.
You've seen it because, I mean, maybe it's resonating more, but I just have not seen a single advertisement of it.
Oh, I've seen it, and the ads don't make sense.
Well, yeah, that's so... with most gachas, though. Like Arknights, for example, right now, which is an advertisement I'm getting, has a K-pop song playing with a random animation that doesn't correlate with the game at all. So, I mean...
they're advertising it. It's just like the algorithm's reaching certain people differently. Because, like, I guess because it realized I'm already doing Street Fighter Duel, so I'm gonna get it less than anyone else. But if someone's looking up Street Fighter, then they might get the advertisement and they're like, hey, you like this, do this.
I mean, that's weird because I get a lot of advertisements I got a lot of advertisements for Idol Heroes when I was playing the game. Like, I got spammed on YouTube still with advertisements for it, even though I was playing it.
For me, it's opposite. Cause like, there was a game I used to play, Warhammer Crusade or some shit like that, and I never got advertisement. And then, like, I was going to reinstall it, and now I'm getting nothing but advertisements for that game. So I think the algorithm just the AI be doing AI things.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. But one topic, if we're done with this, I don't know if you are.
You use TikTok.
Yeah.
Haven't seen any ads there?
Nope.
I use TikTok, yeah.
Like, I mean anywhere. Like, not on Reddit, not on TikTok, not on YouTube, not on Facebook, not on Instagram.
YouTube,
nowhere.
Yeah.
I think I saw one advertisement when the game, like, was launching. And when Marek, the guy that got me into this game, was, like, talking about it, like, come hop on the train and come join our guilds, etc. But besides that, I'm yet to see an ad for it. And I don't know if it's an EU thing or not. That's why I asked. But apparently you guys still get some advertisements, so...
I did get one, but it's quite weird because I got one on a reselling app. Like at the bottom, if you're into those websites, there's like ours. I got one from Marketplace, if you know what it is, Flame.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's there, but I saw it.
Okay. So it's still okay. That was one of the questions. But are we done with this topic? Because I want to have one topic that I want to discuss.
We're already at the 2:15 mark, so to round it out. Okay,
so this is probably a short thingy, but I do want to get some opinions on this. The Vigilante Shadow fix, even though it costs me and other people a substantial amount of money to get that where we are in the game, and just seeing it get hotfixed without any sort of compensation, even though we spent real life money on that exact stat, because that's the reason why people wanted to upgrade. I'm kind of torn, and I honestly, when I saw it, I was debating to quit the game right there and then.
So what happened? Can you clarify and explain what happened?
So Vigilante X move, right? It's an X move that you could purchase with real life money. You could get 4 shards every day for what? I don't know how much, but I've spent like 100 on it to get it to the point where I'm at right now. It gives speed. Or it should give speed, I'll say. And the speed never worked until the patch this Wednesday. And even though it was fixed, it was written nowhere. And we tested it out if it worked or not, because me and Hazing made a video of it. Like, it's up in Hazing's channel, you can check it out. I'm sure you can find it. It's him ranting about the whole situation. But just them asking money for this exact X move and not compensating it in any way when it was bugged for 5 months. People spent on it 5 months, got it to level 5, which is somewhere 300-400 euro to max it out, and just that X move alone, it's just them not saying anything about it, acknowledging that it was ever like bugged, because if they would acknowledge it was bugged, then they would set it in the patch notes, but it was not listed there. It was a shadow fix. It made me want to quit, because if this happens, who knows what will happen in the future, because this is just fucked in my opinion.
I think in context to the fact that it's a for pay X move, and the fact that they compensate us for the inconvenience of like waiting for maintenance, even if we slept during that time.
They compensated 600 gems for Gauken being bugged in Shadaloo.
Yeah, like they compensate us for normal par for the course issues, but they're notably silent on this thing that only affected paying customers for months. And like we were kind of gaslighting ourselves about it at the end of the day. Like it required some extensive testing.
Yeah, not only that, we started to believe that it just didn't give speed the way we thought it did. Like we were questioning if even the stats applied at the start of combat, right? We were all just like, maybe we are wrong and the stats do not apply as they should be.
Yeah, like reassessing your base assumptions, like what even is speed and that sort of like, yeah, it was quite silly for a while. So like I would and do agree with you that like I think we should be realistic that the game's not going to be great with communication. Like it's just not. But I think this is one of the instances where they're like they absolutely should compensate the player base for the fact that this didn't work for the 4 months that the game was up, because exactly, it's a strictly for pay item. Like the fact that it wasn't working the entire time, like you should compensate for that.
I wasn't aware that was happening. I didn't know that was happening, to be honest.
Okay. Well, now you do.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So I've made plenty of bug reports about it. It only became like well known by the community when Hazing made a video about it, even though Payne apparently mentioned it in a video a few months before that. I missed that video. But when I talked with Haze about it, he made a video about it, and then like it got more traction, and that's how it got fixed. But I'm not acknowledging that it was bugged in the first place. Nah, man.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about any of it. Like the devs do what the devs want to do. We've already seen that they just, yeah, like Ramiro said. Don't you guys know the developers are old fashioned? I mean, we've gotten told so many different things, and
I get saying fuck you to free to play. I get saying fuck you to free to play, but we're your paying customers who are keeping this game alive, and we are paying your loans. We are the ones keeping this game alive by spending our money. And you can't even acknowledge that you are wrong. It's just wrong in so many levels. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that could go on the topic of morality in gaming and how FOMO and monetization and all that stuff like that. We've already kind of understand that the business tactics is there, and
yeah, but this is an anti-business tactic because you're essentially saying fuck you to every paying customer who bought it. That's essentially what they're saying to their paying customers, which is not a good business.
It reduces the ability to be confident in future purchases too. Like it's one thing to have problems. Like obviously any game is going to have bugs and issues and like monetization issues, and like sure, people are going to have to file support tickets, and that's fine. It always comes down to how the company responds. So like having a significant portion of the player base affected by this thing that only affects the paying player base, realistically speaking, I mean obviously having 1 star on your vigilante is well and good as a free to play player, but you're not going to have those 2-3 stars that you need to pay to get. And so like they probably should, if they're going to bother at all giving us 600 gems here and there for weekly maintenances and this, that, and the other, like this was something that was, people traded direct money for thing, and they did not get thing, so they should probably get a little bit of extra thing.
So one thing about this thing that Hayes says,
go ahead.
I don't even care. I just want acknowledgement at this point that they know that it was bugged and it was their mistake. That's literally all I'm asking at this point. Just say that you are wrong. That's all I'm asking.
I think at this point in time, companies have already shown that they're not going to apologize for something that they don't need to. Like if you're thinking about,
but they need to.
Think about it like this. Like I get you're unhappy, but I'm gonna throw on the dev hat and think business. Is it causing waves? And would it cost us more money to publicly apologize versus just not saying shit? Like right now, they're not losing anything. If you quit tomorrow, all right, they don't care. That's where it's at. Like they don't have to answer to you or to anyone in this case. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's like they've already shown shitty business tactics time and time again, and they're going to continue with the whole lack of communication. That did I feel like it's kind of getting to a point where they're doing things on purpose just to say, look, we have the power and you don't.
But there's this one thing that Hazing mentions where he's actually completely right. It was advertised in such a way that we could get the refund and they cannot ban us for it.
I've never heard that. I've never heard that.
Watch the video about it on Hazing after this podcast.
Oh yeah? Okay.
I'll link it in a sec if I can find it, but it was advertised as this X move that gave speeds.
Because day one from the mods and servers here, we were told you refund, you're gonna get banned. It was never said any other way.
The thing here is, if he refunds on divination tokens or whatever, well, sucks to be you. Then you get banned because you got what you paid for. In this case, we didn't get what we paid for.
What, the speed?
The speed, just the X move functioning the way it should be, it wasn't the case. Which is effectively a reason to say, well, this was false advertisement. I bought this. It wasn't what it was advertised to be. It is not involving RNG if you get it or not. So sorry, but it's just the raw stats that you're paying for. You didn't get it? Oh well. It doesn't work. Oh well.
The topic of what they used before, it was designed that way. Well, how would you combat that? Like if 90% of the EX worked and only speed wasn't there, they could easily say, yeah, it's just designed that way.
Yeah, but then why would they patch it? They literally dug them a deeper hole by patching it.
But they didn't. That's what I'm trying to say.
They did because we have the evidence to support our claims. That is what I'm trying to get across. We have the evidence to support our claims. So the argument of it was intended to that way, no, it wasn't, because then you wouldn't patch it. If they didn't want to get refunds, then they shouldn't have patched it. But right now we're in a predicament where we could easily say refund, and if they don't refund, we could go to Google and we could actually get it removed from the Play Store or from the App Store.
That's what I'm trying to get at. I'll put my death cap on again. Go ahead and try. That's literally at the point.
Oh, trust me, the policies on Google surrounding games apps, it's actually insane.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying is, at this point,
removed, I get a lot of people mad at me if I get it removed.
The thing is like that's what I'm trying to say. Is either you do it or you don't. At the point of where we're at with how their actions have seen, and I want to go. The words actions speak louder than words. The way they've acted. And the with stealth patches, with the saying of, oh, it's just that way, blah, blah, blah. So many different things we've all seen. This is not beneath them. This is per quid pro, whatever the statement is. And you have to. This is where even Dino says it. You have to either put your wallet where your mouth is, or it just accept that the devs are going to be this way. So if you have the evidence, I'm not trying to say shut down Street Fighter Duel. What I'm trying to say is make the waves so that the devs can be like, oh shit, like the guys made the waves for Monster Hunter Ken. We know that the waves can happen. So if that's what it needs to be done, then do so, because that's the only way where they go shiver me timbers. We need to change something.
Yeah, and if I refund now and I don't get my account unbanned, then it's like, I have to choose between accepting that my account is banned and I will never get to my accounts, or screwing the entire player base and getting the app removed. That is the decision that I'm fucked with, because I don't want to remove the game for everyone's pleasure, because there's still people enjoying the game.
Yeah, because we'll use the example of the Chun-Li EX, when the first whole debacle where people were like, oh, we're supposed to get Chun-Li for free. Like, they didn't give compensation. They were just like, no, my bad. You're good. Like, what? They give a couple of jumps, if that. But even then, it took, like, a giant spotlight on it. So like,
I'm gonna be honest, I kind of missed that because I wasn't playing back then.
Yeah, so if for those, just to give context, that was I think the first big boo boo that they had was that they were promoting. You buy Chung Li, and the advertisement looked like you also get the Chung Li EX move with the Chung Li, and then people were like, "Hey, where's my EX move?" And got to a point where they're like, "No, sorry, they removed the whole thing. You don't get the EX move. That was a mistake." Blah blah blah. But then people brought it up like, oh, the Taiwan, they had it where you buy Chung Li and you get the EX move, and that's where the whole copy and paste thing came about. And yeah, there was a whole debacle of that. People were threatening refund, people were threatening sue, false advertisements, all that stuff. And I mean, I'm pretty sure Haley did a video, if I'm not mistaken. So did Payne, and just nothing came of it. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like I get all you're saying. But you have to put your dev cap on, put your top droid dev cap on, and have the I don't give a fuck mentality, because that's what they got.
To be fair, one of the other reasons that I'm saying it the way I am is because I know Dino is in this call and he's hearing us. And at least I get my concerns to Dino this way. Because it's easier than to write
the absolutely
20th game feedback about it. He's read them all, but this is like how it is. I'm sure you also watched the Hazing video about it, even talked to Hazing about it, but
yeah, it's always,
this is a way to lose your spenders, and it's something that I hope at least reaches the devs.
Absolutely. No, I that's what I'm saying. I really I'm glad Hazing and Payne put the video out there, because it gets it out, because we're in our own little bubble of the Discord server. And most people that play this game won't have a clue. They won't know. They wouldn't really look at, unless they're actively, from what I'm noticing is the people who are like, hey, I really like this game, I want to try hard, they come to the server. So outside of that, there's people that don't even join guilds, there's people that don't even know what EX moves are, so on and so forth. And it's just like, what that's where it's like the devs are like, how many people actually know this stuff, and how much can we get away with?
Well, yeah, the fuck around and find out mentality. I know that very well, but
yeah, expose Top Droid trying to be scumbag. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
No, but it's the latest video talking about why we can refund and stuff. It goes more into detail. But
so it's definitely something that push out there, videos, feedbacks, Dino, all the stuff. So it's I think at the end of the day, the scumbag mentality is all across gaming industry, and as the whole, it needs to change. But we can only do our little small battles here and there.
Yeah. But I do want to add that the scumbag mentality usually does not involve false advertisements and getting away with it.
I don't know, man. Scumbags are pretty sleazy. That's all I'm saying.
For every game that I spent on and played, and trust me, I've spent quite a bit on games, especially when it comes to cosmetics, sadly enough.
I mean,
I have never played a game where I was spending on something that didn't work and didn't get fixed within 5 days, realistically.
I'm used to that. I guess because I play outside of gacha games like Destiny, MMO, like WoW.
Okay, yeah, Destiny.
Yeah, I play those types of games. I'm used to it. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said it overall as a gaming industry, that's where it's like I get the idea and I see what people are going through, but kind of like that jaded, hardened warrior ideology. It's like I've been through it, and
when you bought something in Destiny,
what happened?
When you bought something in Destiny that didn't work, were you compensated?
I didn't do Destiny. I can't speak on Destiny. I speak on other games. I can't speak on Destiny.
Have you bought something that was false advertised?
Yeah, absolutely.
Were you compensated?
No.
And what was that, if I may ask?
let me see. I forgot. It was a weapon on a MMO where it was supposed to give you like be broken and kill something very well, and like the part of the killing didn't work. Like it gave you the stats and stuff, but the actual like effect of the weapon didn't work for like about a month or two. And then they were like, "We fixed it. My bad." And it was that no, there was no compensation. It was just
but
like
they
now you
acknowledged
can
that it
use
was broken.
Yeah. Well, when they fixed it, they were like, "We fixed it." Kind of like in the patch notes. It was just like, "We fixed it."
Okay, so at least you had patch notes that said that it was bugged.
Yeah. Well, I mean, kind of. You know, it's like it was one of those things where like patch notes is like, so and so Bloodbringer, fix bug where it wouldn't kill enemy, and then that's it.
I mean, to be fair, the thing is that patch notes are a way of companies to acknowledge that bugs were there and they fixed it then and there, you know? But yeah, that was just this patch is kind of it's a fuck you to both whales and free to plays in its different
What are
current
you
form.
looking forward to? Like, what would make it better in the next patch? Like, what could possibly be coming that you're like, all right, cool. Like, what would you look forward to?
First of all, make fucking the soul thingy. Don't make it exclusive. Like, if you launch something, don't make exclusive to the 9 fighters or whatever it is. 3 of which are actually attainable for everyone. Well, technically 6 if you count Goken, Akuma, and Evil Ryu. Like, it's 6 units. We have 50 units in the game.
What if they do
Like,
every week? They add like 3 units into the Soul Stone.
I mean, we both know that it's not gonna be every week. It's gonna be every 2 weeks, considering how they do patch cycles.
Yeah, that's true.
And yeah, even if they roll it out like that, like at least start with a substantial amount of characters, man. It just makes no fucking sense. Like, as someone would like you know that I do coding and I know I do game development and whatever. It hurts. It really does.
And on that note, it always seems like we end on the somber note for the game. It's just like
I think the overall podcast was kind of positive about the game, no?
Yeah, no, the overall was good. I would like to continue more on the team builds. My challenge, I guess, if y'all are also set in your ways, but I kind of want y'all to like pick one unit that is different and build it, test it out. Like Texas building OG Blanca, build the Dusty, build something. And
I'm doing that with poison. Does that count?
No, because we already
Poison
know
counts.
poison is good. We already know
Poison
poison
counts.
is good. No, poison doesn't
Okay.
count.
How many people have a plus 36 out of 6 poison?
Enough that people are telling y'all.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like Dawson.
The same way that Dawson is a
Yeah,
meta.
that's what I'm saying. It's like Dawson. Poison people are out there, and they're like, y'all need to catch up.
Yeah, because Dawson isn't meta.
Listen, this man used Mad Ryu and Gen. What I'm saying is, my mummy Dawson is almost there. I'm almost fighting Spirit 30. Sadly, I don't have a single goddamn car, but you know, we'll get there.
Did you at least get the double S cars with your chest?
No, I have one chest. I used it on the Lena. I like to finish
but
my
with your double S
projects.
chest. With your double S chest.
Bro, my Dawson is only SS.
No. Your Dawson? Your mummy?
My mummy Dawson is only SS.
Oh, okay. Because when you get it to triple S, then at least like use your SS vehicle chests.
Yeah, no,
to
I
get
have
them,
those.
to get in the set bus.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I used like 20 of them, and I'm still missing a piece. Like after all of those, I'm still missing a piece.
Yeah. So on that note, you know, we love the game. More teams to come. Test something. It's a challenge, Flake. Test something. Come on, man. You're all big and bad. You gotta test something.
I don't have the facilities for it at the moment, man. I have 3 projects that I'm working on at the same time.
Change those 3 projects and
one of the projects is Yun.
Okay, that's cool. You know, I was about to say Level Up Mikado or something like that. Imagine.
Hell no. Hell no. Never in my life will I touch that unit ever again.
Oh my god. But on that note, Fridays is out. Stay happy, stay hydrated, stay alive, and have a good night, folks.
Bye.